For our next session, we have a unsurprisingly controversially titled presentation that nobody wants a ticketing system from my friend here, Andy Povey. Andy, over to you.
Thank you, Paul. Well, I hope that's applause for Paul and not me. It's a little premature if it isn't. So, hello, thank you for coming. Controversially titled, yes. So, no one wants a ticketing system. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. First, a little bit about me. I've been in and around visitor attractions for 30 years. Started driving the train around the park at Chessington World of Adventures. Before the internet was really in common use. Installed my first ticketing system back in 1996. So I debated internally whether I should actually do this presentation or not, because am I just invalidating 30 years of my career? But we'll see. I've done, as well as working as a user of ticketing systems, I've worked as a supplier of ticketing systems. So I've seen both sides of the equation. I'm currently with the CrowdConvert, and the objective behind CrowdConvert is really to rehumanize commerce. It's really about making things easy for guests, because currently we don't. And I'll go into a few examples of why we don't, or how we don't. If anyone follows me on LinkedIn, you'll see me occasionally rant about having had a really poor experience online. I was visiting Edinburgh a few weeks ago, and I counted 108 clicks for me to buy tickets to go to an attraction before I'd even got to the payment stage. This is before I was entering my name and address. That's just too much. So what does rehumanizing commerce mean? We put the guest at the center, right at the first. We look at everything from the guest's perspective. Like I said, I've done 30 years as a techie supplier of ticketing systems. I think we need to junk all of that now and actually stand in the guest's shoes and look at what the process is. So I've pulled on a couple of things other than just my opinions to write this presentation. First is the Visitor Attraction Website Survey, run by Rubber Cheese, which is actually launching this month, the 2025 version. So do we have a link for people to sign up yet?
Rubbercheese.com/survey.
So rubbercheese.com.
Come on your knee, on your feet. Rubbercheese.com/survey is
Thank
the
you.
link. There we go.
And there's a company called the Baymard Institute. They're a US e-commerce research company. They evaluate e-commerce sites across the world, and they've got some fantastic free resources. They've got lots of really fantastic paid-for resources. I've not looked at those. I've looked at the free ones. But it's independent and gives you an idea of what everybody in the world of e-commerce is doing, not just visitor attractions, because all of our customers are doing all of their shopping elsewhere, aren't they? So first, what is a ticketing system? What am I actually talking about? For years, I've thought of this as a ticketing system is really just a filter. You've got a bunch of people on one side of the filter, and you've got some interesting things on the other side of the filter, whether that's a roller coaster or a mummy or some great works of art, whatever it is your collection, your heritage venue does on the other side. So you've got interested people, something that people are interested in, and the ticketing system is just how we monetize and control the people who are going into that. I'm focusing really on online because the majority of attraction tickets now are bought online. Something like 80% is the average. And the majority of those are bought via a mobile device. So the Rubber Cheese survey shows us that somewhere between 70 and 80% of tickets sold via respondents to the survey were sold by people using a mobile phone or a tablet. So that's really where a lot of this focus is. So who wants a ticketing system? And I said no one wants one. Who actually does? So very typically, there are three different groups or sections within your business that are going to be looking for one. Your finance team, marketing team, and operations. And very often, these have very conflicting requirements, or potentially conflicting requirements. Your finance team are interested in controlling the money, counting the beans, and making sure that the system says we've got 10 and I've got 10 in the bank. Marketing people want to sell more. Lots and lots of selling. Upsell, cross-sell, sell, whatever they can possibly do to generate some income. And they're also interested in data capture. They might not do anything with that data, and I'd argue that a lot of people don't do anything with that data, but they're very interested in capturing that data. So one of my poor online booking experiences was for a venue in Wales, and booking for a party of 4 people. At the end of the transaction, they wanted 4 names, 4 email addresses, and 4 postal addresses. They can't do anything with that data. I can't give permission for them to contact someone that's coming in my party. So under GDPR rules, they can't do anything with 75% of the data they've just captured. Why are they capturing it? What are they going to do? They're going to pay to store it. And then you've got your operations people. And this is my background originally. Like I said, I was a train driver. You want to make it simple. And it needs to work. And it needs to work at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning because I'm not going to go and drag the IT person out of bed to try and fix my problem when I've got a crowd of people in front of me. Potentially very conflicting objectives. Where's the guest? Who's looking at the guest out of that group? It should be the marketing and operations people, but I'm not sure that it is. So what we're trying to do at Crowd Convert is put the guests first and look at everything from the guest perspective. So who owns yours? Within your business, which of these groups actually owns your ticketing system? And there isn't one answer. It's different in every venue that I've been to and every venue that I've worked with. And you can see from looking outside at a venue who owns who. You can see, I can guess, I can suppose, who actually owns the system from the attraction that I'm looking at. So the one in Wales, that's going to be owned by marketing because they're doing all of this data capture. So looking at some feedback from the Rubber Cheese survey, and these are results from 2024. The results are still available on the Rubber Cheese website. So in 23, there were only 30% of attractions saying that they tested their booking process or tested their website from a guest's perspective. In 24, it was better, but it was still 53%. Right at the start, I said 80% of your visitors are buying tickets from your website, but only 50% of attractions are looking at that. How is that going to be acceptable in any other area of your business? When you look at that on the mobile, so again, 80% of people are using a mobile device to get to your website, but only 33% of people have admitted or owned up to testing it. More appropriately, 67% of people have said, no, we don't test it. What are you doing? You can't tell me you want a ticketing system if you're not looking at it. So why is it important to look at it? What's the benefit of actually looking into this in detail? This is some results from the Baymard Institute, looking at the reasons why people have abandoned purchasing a ticket. It's an American survey, which I think may well be the reason why the additional costs are at the top, because in the States everything's tax-free, or not tax-free, everything's promoted as the tax-exclusive prices, and then the taxes are added on at the end. So if you're adding the tax and a service fee and possibly a delivery fee and then another handling fee, that can inflate very quickly. But looking below that, 26% of people have said they've abandoned an online purchase because they were told they had to make an account. What are you doing with that account if you're asking people to create one? I don't trust this site. Don't trust it with my credit card information. So for those people, has the site taken them onto a different page that doesn't look and feel like the merchant's page? So they think that the site's been hacked, they don't want to give away their data. Looking further down the list, too long and complicated the checkout process. How long is your checkout process? How many steps are you asking people to walk through? And what are you trying to do to upsell them? Is that part of the problem? So again, this is a graphic from the Rubber Cheese survey. The average from all respondents was about 30,000 visitors per month going to individual attraction websites. 20% of that 30,000 were adding to the cart, and then 40% of that 20% were completing a purchase. I'm not clever enough to do the numbers, but it's not very many. Going from a huge number coming to the page, actually leaving without purchasing something. 60% of the people are abandoning the cart. So you put all this effort into promoting your attraction, promoting what you've got, and then 60% of people are walking away after they've started buying. What's causing that? So I was going to put some music on this, but I wasn't quite sure where we sat with performing rights. But this is the album cover from Dry Your Eyes, Mate, by The Streets. A different online booking process I had, and this was on a trip to Scotland, not Wales this time, was there were lots and lots of upsells. And for me, it felt like it was a teenage boy, or I had a flashback to being a teenage boy who'd just been dumped. And I'm going, oh, please, 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 please buy a guidebook. Please buy a guidebook. No, I've already told you 3 times, I don't want to. So, looking at some numbers, and these are just easy numbers that I put in to make the calculations easy for me. So if you've got 10,000 people clicking buy now, and your average transaction value is 50 quid, that's going to give you an average, and your conversion rate, your average checkout conversion rate, so that's the people who clicked buy now that then go on to convert, not the people who go to your website, is 5%. It gives you 500 buyers and total sales of 25k. But if you were to add some upsells to that, on the same example, you've got 10,000 people hitting the buy now button, but because we've added some upsells, our average basket value has increased by £2. That's a fantastic result. Everyone's going to be pleased with that. And as a headline figure in your weekly management reports, that's going to look very good. Someone's going to get a pat on the back for having delivered that extra revenue. But if that extra revenue comes at the cost of dropping your conversion rate because you've made people go through too many steps by 8%, and that 8% comes from the Baymard results, where people have said, I've given up because it's made me, I've gone through too many steps. You get 460 buyers. And your total sales actually drop. So what on the surface can look like a great result because you're adding these upsells is actually costing you money. So go and have a look at your purchase process and go and have a look at what you're asking your customers to do, what you're expecting them to do, and looking underneath the skin, be a guest, do some mystery shopping of your own. So what's a good upsell? What makes sense? And again, you look at this from a customer's perspective. So a good upsell is it's positive. It obviously adds or enhances the experience. So if I'm in a restaurant and someone offers me a glass of wine, I'm probably going to say yes. Maybe not tonight because I was out too late last night, but normally I'd say yes, of course, I'll have a glass of wine. Thank you very much. Less positive is if you're going to charge me for using the knife and fork. What are you trying to do? I feel exploited at this point. I need a knife and fork to not make a huge mess. The timing's got to be right. Don't offer me dessert when I sit down and I've not started. I've not had the starter yet. Make sure that the timing is appropriate. At the minute, when we're trying to do upsells, we assume that we've only got one opportunity to sell to that customer, so we try and sell everything to them. Stop it. Stop doing the upsells because it negatively affects your conversion rate. And if they haven't converted, you can't do anything with them. Get them to convert first. Focus on the initial sale. I've just talked about that point as well at the same time. Is it connected with me and my choices? Would you like some cheese with your pasta? Of course. Why not? Or is it entirely irrelevant? Offer me a teddy bear when I'm purchasing pasta. It doesn't mean anything. So why are we trying to do these upsells of the same product to every customer that's coming into your basket? So, I said no one wants a ticketing system. I do. I've been in and around ticketing systems for a long time. I want to keep a job. My family want me to keep a job. So, why is there so much activity? So this is a stat that comes from a company called Sojourn in the US, and it's a forecast of the value of ticket sales, and this isn't just for attractions, this is sport, live performance, live entertainment as well. But they're forecasting that by 2023, the market for ticket sales is going to be worth nearly $100 billion. That's a big number. It's currently worth 62 billion, which is also nothing to be sniffed at. So there's an awful lot of interest from investors, from venture capital funds into this market, looking at this growing at 6% every year. Okay? We would like to get a piece of that. I'd argue that some of these investors don't actually understand how complicated an attraction is. So this is a graphic robbed from the Rubber Cheese survey. It's a theme park. Yeah. And there are IT systems in use at this theme park for all of these different things. They all touch what the guest does, from ticket sale to reporting that, finance, the HR system, making sure that there are staff there to sell the ice creams, run the rides, possibly a hotel, some retail, some catering. So it's a complicated environment. And I'd argue that the VC companies don't actually understand how complex this environment is. So how did we get here? How did we get to this point where I can stand in front of a group of you and say no one wants a ticketing system? Hands up, I've been a provider of ticketing systems for 12 years. I think some of it's our fault. We focus on point solutions. We don't look at the entire requirement. We don't look at this from the guest perspective. We obsess on technology. We're technologists because that's the industry we work in, but we've become obsessed with it. There's an awful lot of talk on the show floor over the past 2 days about AI. What does AI actually do? It rehashes things that are already out there. So I had a conversation on LinkedIn with someone a few weeks ago talking about chatbots and how chatbots are going to revolutionize the world of customer service. No, they're not. I hate having to use a chatbot. The only time I need to use a chatbot is when I can't answer the question that I want myself from what's on the internet, from what's on their website. And the chatbot's only looking at the same stuff. So when I want to talk to someone, it's because I want to do something that you can't do online. I don't want to have to go and talk to a computer to enable me to do it. This argument ended up with a response from the other person and going, chatbots are interesting because we're in an interesting area. Bloody hell, that could have been written by a chatbot who's just taken the conversation that we've had and rehashed it for me. You've proved my point. Actually, some of this is also down to operators. Now, I was an operator for a number of years, so maybe it's me, maybe it's all me. Who owns the process? Who's actually looking at this? Is it an IT system? I'd say no, it's not an IT system at all, it's a business system. When were you going to let the IT team look after your guests? In what other environment would you allow that to happen? So how do we fix it? And I'll be interested in a lot of opinions, and I hope to start some conversations on this. But for me, about putting guests first. And that's it. Thank you. Has anyone got any questions?
That
comments?
was very quick.
Want
I
to
was
start an argument?
writing my notes there, and all of a sudden you'd finished. That was really good talk. Do we have any questions from the audience? Oh, yes, we do. Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, so if you're looking to procure a new ticketing system, what are the top 3 questions that you would ask a potential provider?
Top 3 questions that I would ask a potential provider. First is, what are you actually going to do to make my business better? Anybody that was in the previous conversation, previous talk, heard about how things were being made more efficient, but actually put that back to the provider. What are you going to do to make this easy? What are you going to do to make this... I don't want to have to go on get a PhD in programming your system. You need to make it easy for me. And then the third one, I'm not sure. I can tell you what I wouldn't do, and that's give them a list of 250 odd requirements, because every respondent to that list of 250 requirements is going to say yes to everything. I, many years ago, worked with a large botanic garden. They'd been through a large procurement process. They had the spreadsheet with the 200 plus requirements. We actually won that tender process. A year later, the COO in a review meeting told me that every respondent had scored 100% on the 256 questions. So all of the effort that went into writing those 256 questions, responding to those 256 questions, then reviewing the responses to the questions was a complete waste of time. So I would step back, don't look at the detail, don't give the provider, don't be over specific about what you want them to do, give them your business problem and ask them to come back and fix that business problem for you. And give you examples of where they've done it. Because there's a few out there at the moment that haven't done it anywhere at the minute.
Anybody else got any questions? Oh, I got one at the back. Oh,
Hello, Sarah. I'm nervous now.
Not going to be you. You're not getting it this time. Where was the other hand? I saw a hand and I walked backwards. There we go. There you go.
I'm sure everyone is curious to know how crowd converts are addressing this problem.
So am I.
Without a sales pitch.
Yeah. At the minute, Crowd Convert doesn't have a solution to this problem. I hope to change that in the next two or 3 weeks. So keep watching this space. Thank you. Hi, Neil.
Thanks, Andy. How long do you think it will be before I can just ask Siri to book my tickets and skip the whole process?
You can probably
with
do
the
it now.
AI?
You can probably do it now, can't you?
Not quite yet, I don't think.
I mean, I was a number of years ago. I was at a ticketing professionals conference where a ticketing supplier was talking about building a skill to allow Alexa to book tickets. Someone in the audience pointed out to him that would require the user to go and download the skill to Alexa. And so I'm not sure that's ever going to happen. It's almost like it was 20 years ago when we first started selling tickets online. There was a big debate about whether we're going to do it using HTML5 or are we going to create an app and ask the customer to download the app. The app never happened. I'm not sure how much longer attraction apps have got, to be honest, because you're creating that huge piece of friction, that huge block. So I've digressed massively. I hope I've answered your question. Simply, I don't know.
Anybody else got any questions? I'm going to ask you one.
Go on.
I'm a small attraction. Where do I start in terms of optimizing that journey for the customer?
Look at it. Get your mum to look at it. Get your grandma to look at it. Who is in your network that you can ask? And it's free. You're not looking at spending lots of money. And really start simplifying it. What can you remove from the transaction? What steps can you take out? Don't upsell them. Do that after they purchase the ticket.
So what can you, if you're going to stop asking them things, what are the things that you're going to stop asking them? Passwords has got to be one. I had to enter a password to buy something.
In that immediately. Every time I go and buy some new pants from Marks & Spencer's, I have to go and reset my password because I never remember the bloody thing. It's a pain. Stop it.